Good morning. I am not going to overthink this video. This is just going to be a walk around. Primarily it's a record of this place and the plantings I've done so far. My name's Sam. I live in Marton, New Zealand. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at right now. We moved here in June of 2017, so that was almost 4 years ago now, and since then I have been planting, not as much as I would like, but this year hoping to really ramp it up. Within the first 6 months of getting here, I think it was, this is the stuff I planted. Just didn't know whether it was going to survive or not, so didn't sort of go too crazy and buy a whole lot of stuff, or just wanted to see if it would survive here, because this property, if I spin around, that there I think is more or less facing northwest, which is our prevailing wind, and this is the front paddock, so probably one of the ones that gets really hard hit, especially in the winter, spring wind. Anyway, I'll try not to say too much, but I'm sorry if I do. I've only had one cup of coffee this morning, so it could be a bit of a quiet vid. So if I look back here, this is the stuff that we originally planted. So mostly it's flax. I did plant manuka, but that has really struggled here. It is sort of starting to find its feet, but I haven't planted an awful lot more of it because it's taken so long to get itself established. Yeah, but the flax has been pretty cool. In the summer we get a lot of tui now coming, which is awesome. I don't know if they were here before, they could have been, I don't know whether it's made any difference, but they're certainly coming a lot closer to the house. In here, quite a few plants that were done last year, put in different things. There's a few new ones. Recently I've gone around all the paddocks and trimmed them back, and also mulched all the existing and obviously the new plants. So some things are doing quite well. That one there's only been in a year, and it's doing surprisingly well. And the lemonwood pittosporum, I didn't think they were going to survive, but they seem to be doing okay. Yeah, I have got some willows along the front which I plan to cut back, and I can't remember whether it's coppice or pollard. I'll have to look that up, but anyway, I'm going to cut them right back, probably not quite to the ground but pretty low, and just try and keep them under control, a bit like the ones that are in the orchard part, which are over there. So one of the things I've been doing is cutting paths through, and basically I'm using a weed whacker and a lawnmower at this stage. Not my favourite things, but they get the job done, and I need to get these plants established as soon as I can. This field used to have livestock in it, cows, so it's a bit lumpy, so the video might be a bit bumpy. Hopefully this year I'll get the box off that tree there, because it looks a bit caged in and a bit sad. I think it'll look much happier if it's out of its box. So, and I've got plans for the timber, so it won't go to waste. Running about the animals, that's Millie there in front of us. She's a recent addition. Used to be quite a scaredy cat. She is still very on guard, but she trusts us, and she loves having this for a home. She's pretty lucky. These trees here, I thought most of them I was going to lose. We had a really bad year 2 or 3 years ago, I think, with rain in the winter, and I did lose quite a few that year, because the ground down here is probably some of the wettest on the property. But yeah, things are starting to come away, which is really cool. I am probably going to have to get a little bit creative about how I plant into these lower, really soggy areas. So yeah, this whole area here hasn't been planted, but hopefully we'll get some stuff in there this year, and hopefully it'll survive. That's Maddie over there. She's our older dog, and this is Gracie, who looks like a shagpole carpet. She's a bit teenage at the moment. The ears are painted on. So anyway, that's the front paddock. So I'm pretty pleased with how that is progressing. Just swing around so you can see how much it's grown. Very cool. So that is almost, well, I guess it's over 3 years growth versus probably 1 to 2 depending on the plant. I did plant a few bits and pieces in here. Those ones right down there, those are 2 years old, but a lot of these ones in the middle are probably only about 1 year planted after we came out of lockdown last year, which is 2020. Interesting year. So this is the next paddock back from the road, and I did decide in the end to plant a row of willows. They're just pole plants. They go quite a long way in the ground, hopefully to help keep a bit of the wind, a bit of shelter from the wind for some of the other plants that I've got going on here, and to suck up a bit of moisture. I will be coppicing or pollarding these right back, probably not next year but the year after, so keeping them under control, and eventually I hope they'll get shaded out by other things that grow. This field here, I've found if I get more than halfway down I start to lose plants, so I'm just, again, that sort of area down there is a bit of a tricky one, but I will figure it out eventually. You'll see that I've started taking the box off that tree there, so hopefully I will get the rest of that away over the winter period, and that will be freed up, which will be kind of cool. I have been going around this paddock too. I haven't trimmed it back too recently, but have cut away from all the plants because we're due a whole lot of rain in the next week, so I kind of wanted to get any new plants in and everything a bit mulched, partly so I could see where they were, and also just to help keep the weeds away from them just for a little bit. So yeah, a little bit more organised this winter, which is nice going into winter. So also a little bit of planting in around there. That there goes through to the orchard. We'll come back that way at the end. But yeah, pretty cool. So mostly natives. I have got a few different things in, but not too many at this stage. It's if they're for the bees or the birds. If I think they're going to be beneficial for that, then they're in here. But primarily it's natives. So yeah, pretty cool. We'll come through here. I'm thinking about taking this gate out. It's kind of annoying. And mainly I'm thinking I want to make this into a walkway. I did think I'd leave it for vehicle access, but it's probably not necessary because I have got vehicle access through the other paddocks. So this is, I guess I call it what was the 3-bay paddock. There's a lot of kānuka in here, and I have started planting some other bits and pieces, so it will get quite cool as it grows, I think. These are ribbonwoods, and they are awesome trees. I'll just come back a bit. I don't know if you can see them. There's one there too. That one's a bit smaller. Try not to fall over while I'm walking backwards. They look like sticks when you put them in. They seem to cope with the wet ground, which is awesome. So I have been planting a few more of those in, and then all of a sudden they take off. And I'd say that one there is probably about 3 years old now. But and I don't know why, but I really like them. Yeah, I like the fact that they just look like they're almost dead, and then all of a sudden they just take off, so that's pretty cool. that's my bucket, my safety bucket. There's a hole there which I filled up with some dirt, but I also had some horse poo in there and the dogs are eating it, so part of it is to stop me from cracking my ankle in there and part of it is to stop the dogs eating the poo. I have been putting in compost bins around the place, so that's two there that are new, and the 3-bay here. One of the things that we did when we first got here was we got this put in, which is really cool. This paddock was originally all just grass, and it was pretty wet and pretty muddy, and you couldn't come out here without putting your gumboots on, and there was a burn pile, and it was just not much fun to walk through. It's the dog sneezing in the background. But what's cool about this area is it links up to the driveway around the front, so people, if we need a delivery of something like mulch or firewood, it can be all dumped here, and then I can take my time to deal with it. So it's actually been a really handy space. Oh, good grief, Maddie. Oh, and there's Gabby. We've got the whole crew out. Gabby's a bit grumpy. She's an old girl, and it's a bit cooler today, and she's a bit over it really, I think. She's been a very cool cat to have around. So this is the paddock behind the 3-bay, and I've done quite a lot of planting in here. The other day I added another 20 new plants. Everything's been trimmed back and mulched, so it's looking pretty cool, pretty happy. That's the chickens down there in that ramshackle construction. Excuse me. Just open that gate. So this part here is all brand new planting, so it'll be cool to see how that goes. There's a few things I haven't planted before, so we'll see how that goes. This stuff here is over a year old. The wonky shed, not sure when that's going to fall down. Probably should give it a bit of a push. So yeah, a lot of new plantings into here. That shed there, you can see a gate in the background. That goes down to 6 more small paddocks at the back beyond the stream. Oh, for goodness sake, Maddie. Charming. Dogs are revolting, aren't they? Anyway, definitely a cat person. Oops, got my finger over the thing. Clever me. Alright. Okay. So I've made a few paths in amongst things, just to make getting around easier. Actually covered this with some sawdust because it was very lumpy to walk in, but it's all grassed over again, which is quite nice. A bit more even to walk on when you come down and see the chickens each day, although they have dug a few holes in it. So yeah, again, all natives in here. We have another line of willow here, which I will be trimming back again, probably after next year's growth. I'll cut these back and just keep them under control. This paddock here is super wet, so not quite sure what I'm going to put in there. There's a few exotics in there at the moment that I'm just trialling to see what they do. They seem to be okay so far, so I'll figure that one out later on this year. Got some deciduous trees coming, which I'm quite looking forward to, because there are a few around the property and they're just stunning at this time of the year. Reds and oranges and yellows, very nice. Plus it also gives me a whole lot of tree mulch, leaf mulch, which I love. Okay, and here is the third paddock back from the road. Come on, you guys, come on. I'll just close that gate. Excuse the wobbling around camera. Hope you're not feeling too seasick. You should be thoroughly bored by now, I guess. I guess you can always turn off if you are. So I've only just started planting into this paddock. That's a walnut tree down there, that yellow thing. Haven't had much success with the walnuts. They've got some kind of fungusy thing, so that needs a bit of dealing too. And I've mowed a circle into here like a crazy one. So I've been doing that, so it doesn't look quite so mad now that I've got some trees in. Natives. The one in the middle I think is a pin oak. Not sure. Had a friend come round who knows about trees and she thought it was a pin oak. So I've taken off the lower branches, which means I can get in under there a little bit easier, which is cool. Those posts there I was going to take out. I probably still will, but we had a couple of kingfisher visit the other day and they really liked sitting on the posts, and yeah, hunting for insects. So yeah, I think I might have to put a few kingfisher posts in because it was really cool to see them. I haven't seen kingfishers for years. That fence line down there is fencing off a stream, and I am thinking about taking that away and sort of planting right down into that area, because it would be kind of nice to actually see it rather than sort of have it obscured. And there won't be animals in here anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. Sort of a bit reluctant to deconstruct things too quickly. Don't want to make mistakes in that area, so anyway. So over the past 3 days I had been I've put in about 60 trees, and that was because I heard that there was rain coming and I wanted to get them in so I didn't have to water them. So one job saved. So, and they are putting on a bit of growth at the moment, which is nice. These Kānuka have been way better than the Manuka. Like you can see, they've got a bit of autumn growth happening on them now, which is kind of nice, and they feel nice too. Sorry about the camera work, but as I said, this is purely a record for me so that I can see how far things have come in a year or 2 years or 5 years from now. So that's the house there, and in here I'll give you a bit of a glimpse. I won't go through all of this. This is getting a bit long now anyway. So in there, in the background there, that was where the potatoes are well as this year. Bit scruffy at the moment, haven't given a clean up yet for winter, but that's on the list. And then, oh, and that's Possum. She's a bit of a grumpy cat. But hey, I guess we all are when we get a bit older, aren't we? And this is the orchard, which I'm sort of just tidying up now for winter. So yeah, lots going to happen in here over winter. Last year I didn't manage to do any pruning, which means the trees need a really good go this year, so I have to do some reading up about how to do that properly. But starting to plant in under the trees as well. And this year it's been awesome. We've had feijoas, which every place I've ever been in, I've always planted feijoa trees, and I've always left just before they come to fruit. So it's been really exciting to be on the other end of that this year. And this here, well, this is something new, my asparagus going in this year, so it just doesn't look like much at the moment. I don't know if it'll survive, but yeah, you got to be tough to live around here. Yeah, that's about it really. Yeah, not much else. And look, I'm almost at 20 minutes, so I think I've been rambling on for enough. So I hope you have a good day if you are watching this far. And I will probably do some more later on as things continue to grow and change. Cheers.